NBA playoffs continue on Friday night in the Western Conference. Game 6, Spurs and Timberwolves on Prime. And I've got free plays on the side, total, player props, everything you need to win Friday night in the NBA coming up free right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, giving you your Game 6 Western Conference semifinal preview here between the Spurs and T-Wolves. No games on Thursday, back on the court Friday. And don't forget to also check out the other Friday night game, Pistons and Cavaliers, because I'm giving you every game free here in videos this entire NBA postseason. So click subscribe and click a bell for instant alerts so you never miss out. And also a quick thumbs up, like, and a hype on the mobile device is always appreciated here on the channel. All right, this is a series in which the Spurs have dominated when focused, yet it's only 3-2. Let's break it down. First of all, Spurs overlooked the T-Wolves, I think, in Game 1. They barely lost 104-102. Wembanyama had, 5 points, played awful. Then the Spurs bounced back and dominated Game 2 last week, winning the game by 38. They led by 48. And then Game 3 was tricky because back in Minnesota, I told you the Timberwolves fit several good technical situations off the blowout loss, but I thought the Spurs were still the better team and that they would be focused with the series 1-1. And that's exactly what happened. They won and covered, winning by 7. I liked Minnesota in Game 4. I gave them to you free in the video. I gave you the first half. I had client best bets on both the T-Wolves in the first half in Game 4. And yes, they won the game outright. But we also were a little bit fortunate with Wembanyama getting ejected early in the second quarter. So what did we do? We came right back with the Spurs in Game 5. I gave it to you in the video on Tuesday. Also had a strong 4% client best bet on the Spurs. And it was an easy win. Never in doubt. They won the game by 29. It was even more impressive than that because they never led the entire game. I've never trailed the entire game. Timberwolves never held the lead the entire night and was down by as many as 30. So I've had a pretty good feel for this series. So now we're in a situation where it's do or die for Minnesota, back on their strong home court. But the Spurs aren't going to let down, in my opinion. This is very similar to Game 3 because guess what? Game 5 the other night was identical to Game 2, and I even told you that in the video. The other time the Spurs lost, they won by 38. The second time they lost, they came back and won by 29. So this Game 6 situation is very similar to the Game 3 spot, and with the Spurs did not let down last week. That game, of course, was the previous Friday, May 8th. They won the game 115-108 and covered as a 5.5 point favorite. And I think this situation is going to be very similar. And by the way, even though it was only a 7-point win, they never trailed by more than 4. They won. They had a 15-point lead in that game against Minnesota last Friday. And it's also a situation in which they dominated what I thought the key statistics. They were +8 in the paint, +6 on fast break points. And to show how much dominance they can have in this series when focused, look at the box score from Tuesday night. Yes, they won the game by 29, but they were only +1 in points off turnovers. They were only +4 in fast break points. They were +32 from points in the paint. And that's not a fluke because Wembanyama had a monster game, and we knew he would. I said, hey, look, he's over or nothing with his props after being ejected after Naz Reid got him thrown out. And people were like, Naz Reid didn't get him thrown out. Wemba got himself thrown out. Well, Naz Reid taking that elbow got him thrown out. Still one of my favorite lines. Naz Reid said, pain is just weakness leaving the body. He felt fine afterwards. Well, didn't feel too fine in game number 6 the other night, although he did have 12 points. We'll talk about some player props in a moment, but Wembanyama is the guy I want to focus on here. He's the third youngest player in NBA history to have this stat line. 27 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. They have at least 3 or more of all those. The only 2 guys who have done it younger than 22 years old was Magic Johnson at 20 and Luka Doncic at 21. That's how good Wemby is. He's also the first player ever to be unanimous Defensive Player of the Year and the youngest ever to win it this season at age 22. And that gets to me where I want to go with the total in this game. The last few have gone over, and it's still priced at 218.5 because of that. But the only reason game number 5 went over is because the Spurs put up 26 points. Game 4 went over. They got to 123, but Wemby missed most of that game. Game 3 got to 123. Game 2 got up and over at 228 on that one because they got to 133. And then game 1 was the low scoring one, just 206 because the Spurs didn't play well. San Antonio has scored 115 or more in their 3 wins in this series. So, yes, you could play the game under 218.5 because I think the Spurs defense is going to be there. And it's also an elimination game. Spurs team totals those at 111.5. They've gotten over that in all 3 wins. What I like better as far as the total goes is actually the team total under for Minnesota, under 107.5. Because as I've said all along in this series, I think Minnesota is offensively challenged, especially against San Antonio, at full strength. 107.5 is the Timberwolves team total. They had 104 in their win in game one, then 95, and then 108. Barely would have gotten over this. Yes, they got to 114 in the win on game four, but it was a good spot for them. We had a best bet on them. And also, Wembanyama didn't play over half that game. Best defensive player in the league, and they still only got to 114. They were held to 97, of course, the other night. So I lean under 218.5, but I think the Timberwolves under 107.5 is probably the best way to attack a total in this game, because I do like San Antonio to win this one and close out the series. And if you're playing a minus 4.5 point line, you better hope that team can win outright. So if you like the T-Wolves, don't hope they can stay within 2 baskets. I don't see them winning this game. If San Antonio comes focused, which I think they will, as long as Wemby doesn't get ejected again, Spurs close this series out on Friday night. So I like the Spurs, the under, and definitely like that Minnesota team total under 107.5. Hey, what are your thoughts on side total, some player props? Drop them in the comments below. Include some analysis so we can all, of course, learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And speaking of player props, if I'm leaning team total under for the Timberwolves, then we're going to obviously look for some Minnesota players to stay under as well. I mentioned Naz Reid. I thought he would regress a little bit and they'd focus on him after he got Wemby ejected. I know Wemby's elbow got Wemby ejected, but you know what I mean. But he still had a lot of shot attempts. 31 minutes, 4 for 10 shooting, had 12 points. I would still maybe look to fade Reid here in this game after a couple decent games. Anthony Edwards, 6 for 13. He played 39 minutes. He had 20 points. We're never looking to fade superstars, but I did say fade Edwards in Game 5 for a couple reasons. First of all, I thought it would be a blowout, so I thought he would be limited a little with the minutes, and he somewhat was. And also, I'm not sure he's fully healthy. So I still would not like any Edwards overs unless you like Minnesota, which I don't in this game. Gobert came back down to earth, as expected with Wemby out there. He only had 4 points, 1 for 4 shooting. So I would look to fade some Minnesota guys, maybe Naz Reid under points if he regresses a little bit. And then as far as San Antonio players, Wembanyama coming off the monster game, there's probably not a lot of upside. He does kind of zigzag on his points sometimes. So if you're going to play Wemby over, maybe like an assist prop over. He only had 5, but he's had some big assist games. Rebounds, he had 17. I think he probably gets double-digit rebounds again. So Wemby, I'm kind of neutral on. De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, I told you I like their overs in game number 5. They both had decent games, 18 and 17 points, 34 and 27 minutes, because they were limited in the blowout. This should be a closer game with the 4.5 point line in Minnesota. So De'Aaron Fox over or Stephon Castle over. I'd be surprised if at least one of them don't get over their points, especially if Wemby regresses a little bit on the scoring end. And Keldon Johnson, monster game off the bench, 21 points in 22 minutes, 11 shot attempts. Do we dare take a flyer with him again? I mean, he's a guy that we haven't talked about this entire series. It's always interesting when someone has a max game like that off the bench. You're like, well, maybe they key on him. But then again, if he gets 22 minutes and more importantly gets 11 shots, he'll probably get some points. He was priced at about 8.5 in each of the previous 3 games. He did have 11, 9, and 11 in the first 3. He had 21 in Game 5. He only had 4 in Game 4. So he's had 9 or more in 4 of the 5 games in this series, 11 or more in 3 of the 5. And he's still priced around that 8.5 to 9.5 range. So Keldon Johnson kind of flying under the radar. Do they key on him? If not, he might get up and over once again for the Spurs. Once again, what are your thoughts on the player props? I know many of you do quite well with them. Drop them in the comments below. We all read the comments. We reply back. And I love the support here. Positive comments encouraged. I know 99% of you are positive. There's those 1% that just love to be naysayers, love to be negative. Steve, you missed the free play the other night. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, set them straight. Correct the stragglers. Bring them back into the pack. But I do love the input, love the comments, love the views. We get over 10,000 views for these videos on a daily basis, and that's why I keep bringing you every playoff game free here this postseason. Be sure to check out that Cavaliers-Pistons Game 6 for Friday night as well here on the channel. Quick thumbs up like, and if you're on your mobile device, click that hype button. That's much appreciated. And click subscribe and click the bell for instant alerts so you know when some free baseball videos are posted along with these daily free NBA playoff videos as well on WagerTalk TV. Now, when we give you free plays on side, total, player props, numerous plays in every game, every playoff game, a lot of these are light leans only, right? Money management is key. If you're playing these light leans, 1% of bankroll is appropriate. Sometimes these plays do make my client best bet card, and those are strong 4% plays. Those are the games I'm personally using each day. I give them to all my clients directly at WagerTalk.com. Get my strong best bets right now on a daily basis and save big with some special offers. 3 days for $49. That's right. 3-day sampler for just $49. That includes every baseball and basketball play each day. It's all sports, all access. In fact, all these packages I'm mentioning are all access, all inclusive. 3-day sampler for $49, great entry point. Or a 30-day package is normally $299. Nope, just $199 right now in the month of May with an instant $100 discount. And to make it even better, you get 10 more days free. So it's a 40-day package for just $199, all sport, all access. Or if you want that true consistent investment approach all year long with every sport, the 1-year all access has never been more affordable. Instant $811 discount. That gets it down to exactly $99 a month, $3 a day, about $1 a play. That's going to get all of next year's complete college and pro football seasons, all of next year's complete college hoop season, all of next year's NBA into the playoffs, the rest of this year's playoffs, rest of this year's baseball into next year's baseball. 365 days straight, and you're getting it for about $1 a play with the biggest discount we've offered this year. No promo codes needed, and it doesn't matter if you get 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year. Every client gets the same best bets I'm personally using each day, and it's always been that way since I started nearly 30 years ago, August of 1996. That's right, this August will be my 30th anniversary as a full-time professional sports handicapper and bettor, and it's always been the same. If I'm using a game, if it has a mathematical edge, I send it to all my clients. Get my strong best bets right now and check out the free play, daily free play, the last cut from that best bet card. And I'm selective. I have maybe 2 to 3 best bets a day, which means that last cut is a pretty strong opinion. That one I maybe would treat as a 2% of bankroll. Go get that free opinion for tonight, right now, with analysis, and check out the best bets and special offers. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. wt.buzz/SM. Like, subscribe, comment below, and follow me on social media at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril, and on X and Instagram. And don't forget, stay tuned here on WagerTalk TV because you know more free play videos are coming up. And click subscribe and click the bell for instant alerts. You know when Game 6 for Cavs Pistons video is posted here for Friday on WagerTalk TV.